Okay, we're ready to go? You do?
Long division.
I'm so triggered.
Okay. We are going to do some polynomial long division today. Isn't that what you were hoping to hear? Okay. Listen, it's not hard, okay? You can do it. Okay, first let's talk about when. Okay, first we're going to talk about when you would do long division. So you are going to do long division when the numerator is greater 0%. Oh my gosh, look at your life. Like a disaster. Okay, you will do long division when the numerator is greater than the denominator. Okay, so for example, if I had this, 2x cubed, 9x squared, 3x plus 7 over 2x plus 3. Okay, now the first thing I want to point out is that if this was only over, ooh, shiny nail. If it was only over a 2x, you could just divide each term by 2x, and this is not a thing. But because it's an expression, 2x plus 3, it's a binomial, okay, you can't use that method because it doesn't solve the problem. So you would say, okay, don't like that, I'm going to divide it. So here we go. Let's remind you how to do long division. So what I'm dividing by is going to go in the front. So 2x plus 3 divided into, and then the big long crap is going to go on the inside. So 2x3, 9x squared, 3x plus 7. Okay, so what they tell elementary school kids is that if it was raining, the 2x plus 3 has to be in the rain, but 2x plus 3 gets to be dry, and then when you switch, 2x plus 3 has to be in the rain, but the 2x cubed plus 9x gets to be dry, so they switch. Okay. All right. So here's how polynomial long division works. Okay, it is not as hard as you probably remember thinking it was. What do I times 2x by to get a 2x cubed? X squared. Then I'm going to take that x squared, I'm going to multiply it by 2x plus 3, and then I'm going to line it up underneath the first two terms. So what is x squared times 2x plus 3? 2x cubed. And then what is x squared times 3? 3x squared. And then after I line them up, I don't know if you remember this, but in division you subtract that row. So if I'm going to subtract that row, I'm going to subtract here, and I'm going to subtract here, because remember, I'm minusing the entire row. Okay? So from there, what's 2x cubed minus 2x cubed?
0.
That should always happen. If that doesn't happen, you picked the wrong thing. Okay? And then what is 9 minus 3? 6x squared. Then I carry down the 3x. And then I ask myself the same question. What would I times a 2x by so that it will perfectly match a 6x squared? A 3 and then one more x. So I put a plus 3x at the top. And then I'm going to take my 3x and I'm going to multiply it by the entire 2x plus 3. So 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 3 gives me a 9x. But then if I have to minus that entire row, then this becomes minus minus. What's 6 minus 6? What is 3x minus 9x? Negative 6x carried down plus 7. And I would say, what can I times 2x by to get a negative 6x? Negative 3. And I don't need another x because 2x already has one. So negative 3 times 2x is a negative 6x. Then negative 3 times 3 gives me a negative 9. But then if I'm minusing both of those negatives, they're both going to switch to be positives. So plus, plus. And then notice my first term still cancels out just like it did all the other times. Negative 6 and plus 6 cross out. 7 plus 9 gives me 16. That is my remainder. So here's what my answer is. If I divide these two polynomials, I'm going to rewrite my integral. I'm going to get x squared plus 3x minus 3 plus a remainder of 16 over 2x plus 3. Okay, so think about if you remember that. So this is my whole number answer, if you will. And then this is my remainder out of what I divided by. So this is the remainder over the divisor. I don't know if you remember those words. Okay, but the remainder is what's left over. The divisor is what you divided the other thing by. Okay? And then from there, I'm going to take that integral, and I'm going to separate it into two integrals. Here's why. That doesn't need u sub, but that does. So I'm going to split that up into x squared plus 3x minus 3. That integral will be simple, but then my 16 over 2x plus 3 is going to need u sub. So let's do the first one, the little polynomial. X squared, increase the power, it becomes 1/3 x cubed. Perfect. What about the 3x? Three over 2 x squared. And then what about the minus 3? What's the integral of that?
Squared.
3x, because that's like a dx. That's not like the 3's x, yeah. Okay, now when I come to here, I'm not going to give that a plus c. I'm just going to put 1 plus c at the very end. Okay, so even though technically he gets a c, the other one gets a c, we'll just squish it together. 1c at the very end of the integral. Okay, then here I'm going to do u substitution. What do you guess I should choose as my u?
2x plus 3.
Perfect. 2x plus 3, which makes my du just a 2 dx. So dx is du over 2. And then I'm going to come back to my integral, and I'm going to rewrite it in terms of u. So it'll be the integral of 16 over u du over 2. Well, 16 divided by 2, what does that make that? 8. And then it's a 1 over u du. What's the integral of 1 over u du? 8 ln u. Technically absolute value bars plus c. Remember, that c represents the constant for both of them. And then I go back to the very end, I write my full solution. So my full solution is 1/3 x cubed plus 3 halves x squared minus 3x plus 8 ln 2x plus 3 plus c. So easy, right?
I've seen another example of a division part.
Okay, we'll do it.
Everything else.
Okay, so how do you feel about it? Several steps, but you think you can do it? Yeah. Okay, let's do another one. Are we good to turn the page, or you need another? Okay, sure. Wow. Shall we turn? Good. Okay, here we go. Number 2. Number 2 is going to be the integral of 2x cubed plus 8x squared plus 10x plus 2 divided by x squared plus 2x dx. Okay, so first set up the division problem. Remember, 2x cubed is in the rain, so that means he gets to go in the house. Okay, so x squared plus 2x has to take a turn outside, and 2x cubed plus 8x squared plus 10x plus 2 gets to go inside. Okay, what do you multiply x squared by so that it perfectly matches 2x cubed?
2x.
Okay, I need a 2 and I need one more x, so 2x. Then I take 2x, I multiply it by the entire divisor is the correct word for that. So what is 2x times x squared?
2x cubed.
What is 2x times 2x?
4x.
And then what happens to my signs on that row? They both become minuses because I'm subtracting that entire row. 2 minus 2 gives me,
Nothing.
8 minus 4 gives me,
4.
then I carry down plus 10x. Then I say, okay, what do I have to times x squared by to perfectly match my 4x squared?
4.
Just a 4. So I'm going to put a plus 4 on the top, and then I'm going to use 4 as my multiplier on the x squared plus 2x, and then I'm going to line it up right under here. So 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times 2x is an 8x. And then I take all those signs and I switch them to be minuses. 4 minus 4 gives me
0.
10 minus 8 gives me 2x, carry down plus 2. Now, when the remainder is when it becomes smaller than the power of the divisor. So if this is an x squared and that's only a 2x, that makes this the remainder. Does that make sense? Okay, once this gets too small, there's nothing I can times x by, or x squared by, to make it go back to being an x. So at that point, you've identified the remainder. Okay, so my rewritten integral is going to be 2x plus 4 plus, and then my remainder over my divisor, so it will be 2x plus 2 over x squared plus 2x. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you have your whole number from the top, and then your remainder over your divisor. And remember, the top you can just integrate regular, it's a polynomial. Okay, but then this chunk you'll need u sub for. Okay, so let's do this part first. 2x plus 4, what is the antiderivative?
X squared.
And then where's the 2 go? 2 divided by 2, now it's a 1, gone. Okay, 4 turns into a
4x.
4x. Nobody's worried about the plus c, okay, because I'm going to put it at the very end. But then here I need u sub. What will I choose as my u?
X squared plus 2x.
Okay, u is going to be x squared plus 2x, which makes my du a 2x plus 2 dx, which makes my dx a du over 2x plus 2. And I come back to my integral. I'm going to rewrite it. I had a 2x plus 2 on top, I had a u on the bottom, and I had a du over 2x plus 2. What's going to happen there? Perfectly cancel out, nothing left over. So then this is really just the integral of 1 over u du. And we have a rule for that. What's the antiderivative? ln u, don't forget the absolute value bars, plus c. And then I'll bring back my x squared plus 2x, I'll write my full solution. Remember, this, you can rewrite it over and over again, but I usually will just put it back at the very end. So I'll have x squared plus 4x plus ln x squared plus 2x plus c. Make sense? You ready to try one? Or you want to do one more together? Did you say can we? Oh, okay. Let's do one more to get, or you think you can do it? You got it? Okay. Oh no. I only have 4 examples total, and then we are doing the homework. So just hang tight. Okay, Now, before I have you start this one on your own, something is wrong with it. We'll see what you remember from pre-cal.
Uh-oh, pre-cal. I never heard that word again.
I never learned.
Why for pre-cal? Oh, did you have Mr. U? Just kidding. Who did you have for pre-cal? Oh, there's no way you learned nothing.
Yeah,
I learned something. Academic knowledge.
Okay, set up your divided by. What is wrong with it?
No, bruh.
Huh? Oh, yeah. What'd you say, Qua? There is no x cubed. That's a problem. What do I do? Put in a 0. If you don't, here's what's going to happen. Everything's going to end up not being lined up right. You're going to end up having to go back and rewrite the entire division problem. So I'm going to put right here, you are going to write in a 0x cubed between the x4 and the negative 3x squared. The reason why is that when you divide, stuff will not stay lined up correctly if you don't go down in one power at a time. So it'd be x minus 4 here, x4 plus 0x3 minus 3x squared minus 7x minus 14. When you learned long and synthetic division, that rule stays the same. You can't just jump over a term. It messes everything up. Okay, give it a shot. I'll bring you a candy.
Yeah.
You can do it.
What did I do? Kevin's only his class. No. Never do that.
That's why you failed with them.
That's from what?
Huh? Shut up.
So your first question, what do
X
I
cubed.
multiply x by?
X cubed.
To get an x to the 4. Should be an x cubed at the top. Then remember to times it by the whole x minus 4.
Can you shut up? Can you shut up? Thank you.
Why do you turn your nose up at my tissue?
I am confused.
Finish journal.
Pen? Two good Princess Hero these days. So wait. And they have their own dance to go.
Yeah, I'm saying the 4S.
Oh yeah, you never heard that song? That's too cool.
That's not what I'm asking.
Oh, come on.
That's what I'm asking.
It's like from when we're
Turn them on negative. So you turn this negative will be positive, and then you bring down the negative. Yeah, this one will be positive. No, but this one will be negative because it's subtraction.
It's sealed properly. No? You want a candy? Little morning candy?
Because you're subtracting.
Yeah, when you write it underneath, you change all the signs because you have to minus that row to know
Okay,
what to
never
put
mind.
down.
So the minus is right. It's positive.
So a minus would turn to a positive, but if it was positive, it would turn to a minus.
Yeah, but Kevin, it
would
would
turn into a positive.
That would be negative 4x cubed. It's not subtracting anything. It's only when you have something on the bottom.
Would you like
So once we
one?
find the next one, that's how you change it to.
What? I think. I would think.
Mr. Bernard, you lost.
I have.
What'd you say?
I'm lost.
I'll tell you the remainder
Wasn't that negative 4x?
is 123.
Oh man, yeah.
Is it 166 or 123?
I'll find out in a minute.
Wait, doesn't that negative 4x?
I have a question.
I'll have to do it. I don't remember. Yes?
So you bring this down, change it to negative, right? Or do you, so do you change it?
No, here it would change to a positive. So, because here's why. These don't cancel out. You have to change that to a minus and then change that to a
So we
plus.
cut?
So as soon as you line it up underneath, you should be switching the sign.
So the
Shay, do
negative.
you want one?
So, wait, Ryan, he's right.
So it should have, the minus should have switched to a plus 4.
Yeah. So plus
Yeah.
4x cubed.
Yep.
Whoa. Yes. Let's go, math.
I don't know, I might have changed the question from last year. It looks like I did, so I don't know what it is, but I'll do it. Okay, so first term should have been an x3. x3 times x is x4, times negative 4 is a negative 4x3. But then I changed the signs on that row so that the first terms cancel. 0 plus 4 gives me a 4x cubed. Carry down minus 3x squared. X to turn into a 4x cubed needs a 4x squared. 4x squared times x is 4x cubed. Negative 16x squared. Switch it to a plus.
Boom, got it.
What is 16 minus 3? 13x squared. Carry down the minus. Okay, what does x need to multiply to be a 13x squared? 13 with one more x. 13 times x is 13x squared. 13 times negative 4. Oh, what is that?
Miss Jordan,
552.
Miss Jordan, you must change your sign or you multiply that by this sign. So like,
You must say that one more time.
whenever positive you change sign.
Yes.
I said that. I thought like I saw x4 plus 4x cubed. I thought you multiply negative in the front, so it would change.
Yeah, but if you multiply a negative by a negative 4, it would turn into a positive anyway. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why it's going to automatically switch.
So let's don't multiply the sign, just like whatever the sign is. Zero.
Yes, that's what I would think about. So you're just switching the sign. Okay, then that crosses out. Yes. Okay, my negative 52 turns to a positive 52. Hold on. This is a plus 52 and a minus 7. 45. Okay, then carry down minus 14. Okay, then from there, x to get a 45x needs a 45. 45 times x is 45x. 45 times 4, that's 90 twice, that'd be 180. But then I take my minus 180 and I turn it to a positive. And then 180 minus 14 is... Ooh, you got it right. Good job. Okay, so let's rewrite our integral. So your integral should be the top part, which was x3, 4x2, 13x plus 45, plus the integral of the remainder 166 over the divisor x minus 4. And remember, they each get their own integral because they have to be integrated separately. This is a polynomial. Regular polynomial rules apply. What is the antiderivative?
1/4 x to 4 plus
X turns to the 3.
4 x cubed plus 16 over 2x squared plus 45x.
And then when I get to the next term, I'm going to have to u sub it. So my u is going to be an x minus 4. du is going to be 1 dx, which means that dx and du are just basically the same. You can put the over 1, but it doesn't change anything, right? So this integral is now going to be a 166 over u du over 1, but no one cares. 166 moves out. What's the integral of 1 over u? So it's 166 ln absolute value u plus c. And then my final answer would be the full solution, including the initial polynomial that you had at the beginning. So it'd be a 4th x4, 4/3 x3, 13 over 2 x2, 45x, 166 ln x minus 4 plus c.
So is this going to be on the exam?
So here's what I would say. They just added this to the AP test like 2 years ago. They've put 1 on it. So it's like if you can't do this, it's not like you can't get a 5. But you can't say, oh, well, if I don't know how to do that or that or that. Well, once you add up the number of things that you're not going to do, if you're not going to memorize formulas, not going to do long division, not going to, learn your inverse trig, then eventually, yeah, you're going to fail. But there will probably be 1 of these on the whole AP test. I wouldn't guess more than 1.
Can you use the yellow sheet on the AP?
No, but the other thing too is I don't know that I'd really work hard to memorize it right now, because by the time the AP test is here, you may forget all of the things you've worked hard to memorize. So I would probably wait until a little bit closer to the AP test to really start combing through it, looking for patterns and memorizing stuff. Okay? All right. I have 1 more for you. Oh, we got to do one with endpoints and then we're done. Sweet. Okay, the last one. Honestly, you right. Okay, number 4. 0 to 3.
We don't give consent.
What?
You don't get what?
Don't say it. Don't say it again. Don't say it again.
Smith said it.
Did you say consent?
College career could
Okay, now when you divide this, what should you be looking
The
for?
0 to the x cubed.
Okay, and where are there missing terms?
The cube.
The cube, the cube,
X cubed on the top and what on the bottom?
The squared on the bottom.
Regular X on the bottom.
What? That? Oh my god, that's so much.
Okay? So on the outside, I'm going to have 2x squared plus 0x plus 6.
Wait, wouldn't the 0x always be 0? Like, once you multiply whatever's on top. Like, let's say if you multiply, like, if there was a 2.
Yeah, so that term will stay at 0, but it keeps things lined up. So 2x4, 0x3, 12x2, 2x plus 18. Now, real quick, let me just tell you something as we're working through this. If I'm dividing an x4 by an x2, you can only divide that twice. So even though it seems like, oh, this is going to take forever, it's actually not, because I'm dividing an x4 by an x squared. So the difference between these terms is going to determine how long a division problem will go. Okay? So what will I multiply x squared by to get a 2x4?
You said x squared.
Oh, you know what I mean. Okay. So I need just an x squared. I don't need a 2. I don't need a 2 because I already have the 2 here. Now remember, you need to line it up under the first 3 terms. So 2x squared times x squared is 2x4. 0 times 2x is 0x cubed. 6 times x squared is 6x squared. Then what do I do with all the signs? Switch it, switch it, switch it. So 2 minus 2 crosses out. 0 minus 0 stays a 0, which I'm not even going to put. And then 12 minus 6 gives me 6x squared. Now, because of that 0, I'm going to go ahead and carry down the next 2 terms because I need to have a trinomial. If I was dividing by something with 2 terms, I could just carry down 2. But remember, I need something to line all 3 of these up underneath. Okay? So from here, what would I multiply 2x squared by to get a 6x squared?
3.
Plus 3. Then 3 times 2x squared is 6x squared. 3 times 0 is 0x. 6 times 3 is 18. Then I take all those signs and I switch them to be minuses. 6 minus 6 goes to 0. 2x minus 0x is still a 2x. 18 minus 18 is a 0. So my remainder is only a 2x. Now rewrite your integral problem. So it'll be x squared plus 3 plus the integral 2x over 2x squared plus 6. And then what were my endpoints? 0, 3, 0, 3. Any questions to there? Okay, last example. Let's finish it up. Okay, x squared plus 3. What's the antiderivative? Yup, plus
Plus
3x.
My bad.
Now, I'm going to finish this part all the way out before I switch to the u sub. So that makes the top I want an f of 3, bottom I want an f of 0.
So you're solving that first?
Yeah, I'm just going to solve it all the way out because remember when I do u sub, my endpoints are going to change and I don't want it to be confusing. Okay, so x is a 3. 3 cubed is 27. What is a third of 27? 9 plus, then I plug in a 3 here. 3 times 3 is another 9. Top is 18. On the bottom, we're plugging in a 0. 18 minus 0 is 18 plus. So the answer for my first integral, I'm just going to drop it way to the bottom, is 18. Now let's do our second integral. Okay, what is my u going to be on the second integral? 2x squared plus 6. What does that make my du? 4x dx, which makes dx du over 4x. Good so far? Okay, we're rewriting only this part of the integral. So I have a 2x on top over u, and then I have a du over 4x on the bottom. X is crossed out. What constant do I pull to the front? 1/2 integral 1 over u du. Then what do? Change the endpoints. I'll do the ln next, but I'm going to change my endpoints first. So I used to have a 3 and a 0, but I'm plugging them in now here. So if I have 2 times 3 squared plus 6, 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. What's 18 plus 6? 24 on top. Next I'm plugging in a 0. 2 times 0 squared is 0, plus 6 is 6. Okay, then from there, what's the antiderivative of 1 over u? 1/2 ln u. Then I'm plugging in a 24 and a 6. Well, then I have 1/2 ln 24 and 1/2 ln 6. What do I do when I subtract ln's? Divide. So I'll have 1/2 ln 24 minus ln 6, and then I can divide the 24 and the 26 to be an ln 4. So really it's half ln 4. Now there's one other really mean thing they could do on the AP test. Probably they wouldn't do it, but just in case, where can this half move with logs? Well, if it's up front, it can move up. And what's a half as a power?
Square.
So they could have written this as 18 plus ln of 2. Because if I move a half up here, it turns into a square root. And then what's the square root of 4? 2. So this would be the mean version of that. Okay, probably did they do that? No. Okay, but if they did, I would want you to remember that's a thing, that you can move that exponent up to the front or from the front back up. Okay, but this is good enough. Got it? Okay, so go ahead and look at your homework. Okay, you have about 8 minutes. Let's pick one,
2.
and then I'll have you do it.
Oh.
And we'll see how it goes. Now, number 2, is that going to be long division?
No.
Is number 1 long division?
No.
How do you know?
Because you can just equal
The bottom is bigger.
Okay, in order for it to be long division, the top has to be bigger than the bottom. This is regular u sub. Now, look at number 3. Would I do long division on number 3? I can split each of those up over an x. by number 4, you have to do long division. So 1, 2, and 3 are not long division. So I'm going to put no LD, no LD, and no LD. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3, you are not doing long division. You can get around it, so I would avoid it if you can. Now, you could do number 3 by long division, but it's totally going to be a waste of time. Because you could just divide each of those by an x and do a regular integral. Do you understand what I mean by that on number 3?
So it'd be x
Does anybody need me to? Yes.
So it'd be x squared.
Mm-hmm. So it'd be x cubed minus 2x squared plus 2x, each divided by an x, which would be x squared to x plus 2, and then you just integrate that. Okay, another thing too to point out, okay, make sure until you do the integral, that symbol should still be there, okay? Alright, so what one do you pick? And we'll just all do the same one. 4, 4, or 5?
Such a mistake.
Wow. 4A or 4B or number 5?
4.
For the first 4?
Kidding.
Or no more.
This one? Okay, everybody do this one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's frozen, so you can't copy off of me.
Oh my.
Let's see if you get it right, suckers. The second number 4.
Oh, really? I can't copy you.
That's so much effort to copy, though.
Sorry guys.
Wow.
So rude. You're not stupid, Ryan.
Yes, I am. It's 798.
And then we're not even gonna talk about what I got. We're not even gonna talk about what I got on my other test.
I got a 78 right.
Don't expose me.
Let me see test one test.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Plus 4 over 2x plus 1.
it should be 2x minus
2x minus 4. That's your remainder.
because you have to carry down a negative 4.
Slow.
Okay, now finish the
I
integral.
already finished, but
Could you reduce it down?
Uh-huh.
You just have to
What do you mean reduce it?
okay, but that's what you're doing.
like
I hate
You can't do that.
L10.
You remember this was,
So,
no, it should be.
Oh, this is where I get confused. What I put interval?
Oh yeah.
So the bottom stays on the bottom.
So this moves right here. So 2x plus 1. Oh, that on
Yeah.
the front.
Look at you guys mastering long division. So
I
much
hate it.
easier than you remembered, am I right?
Yeah, actually it
Yes.
was.
Do you remember when they tried to teach you this when you were like 15?
Yes. And I was like, what is
English, English.
this?
When I taught Algebra 2, I had to go cry last year. I was like, okay, come on. This is
It's not that
like-
bad.
Imagine.
But now look at you, 18,
I know.
successful.
I don't know about that.
Wait till 3 years.
Successful, right? Right.
U is x squared minus 4x.
X squared minus 4x. I don't have enough room to write all this.
I know, I had to do the U sub in my
Like a
head.
scratch paper.
Well, lucky you.
2x minus
You
4.
have scratch paper. Good.
2x minus 4
Spittle.
dx.
Deal
dx.
paper.
2x minus 4 is du.
Easy.
Yeah.
dx. They just
Good.
crossed out. I got the answer. So smart. What? What is that?
I'm so glad.
Oh my god, that's so easy. Oh my god. You can talk perfectly.
You got 3 minutes.
Who's doing her question?
Answers up there if you need to check it.
It just
Yep.
du. What over u du?
Wait, never mind.
So your u
Does that-
is x
you would
squared
be-
minus 4.
I
Well,
know.
your u would be, well, your dx would be 2x
There's
minus
so much
What
freaking
is that?
du
On bottom.
on bottom.
Yeah, so put a dx there. You have to put the dx there. So like I was a little lazy and didn't put it on mine, but there should be a dx right here at the end of both of these technically.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
And then when you integrate this, you just do it regular. But when you integrate
What'd you
that,
get, Ryan? What'd you get?
answer's up
For
there.
you,
I got it right. Let's go.
Oh, let's go. Good job, kid.